feel the kick inside. Oh, fire. Perfect world. Everybody's out there crying to be heard, but I got a new fire burning my heart, lighting up the darkness and moving like a meteorite. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. When everything just falls in line, we live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire, fire, fire. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Hi, welcome to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and we say this every week about the shows that we have, but Judy does an incredible job in scheduling a lot of shows, and this show really touches on a really important story about Deanna, who suffered a stroke, and her husband Eddie, and we're going to hear their story and how it impacted their lives, and the difficulties that they had in the journey, and we're really honored and privileged to welcome them here today to hear their story. And this story touches on, really, Judy picked this out of their timeline. It really touches on a situation that is one of our biggest passions in life. And that is that, what is it called? Insurance should not be the deciding factor in recovery. It shouldn't be. I mean, my mom and I were talking about that on the way here. That
Yes, that's very true.
Right. It's just, it shouldn't be. I mean, when someone is sick, they should get, first of all, the love that they need surrounding them. That is our number one key to recovery. But then they should be able to go to therapy and get the recovery that they need without the family and them having to deal with
approval from insurances and from the government or whatever it is. They're the first priority should be their health. End of story in my world. How we get there, my mom and I were talking about this on the way here, is a challenge, and we understand it. I'm a businesswoman. I understand both sides. I understand the budgetary side. I understand the doctor's side. I understand the people that scam the system. That has to play a part in it. But the bottom line is that those people that suffer strokes and suffer from aphasia in our world should not be told that their insurance has run out and they cannot get therapy. So this is going to be a really very important show for us in our world. So thank you so much for joining us, and let me introduce Judy, the co-host way on the other end. Hi, Judy.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you again.
Good.
It's good to see you too.
Yes. And my mom is back, Mayra Prado.
Thank you for having me here.
Do you have your mic on?
No, but it doesn't matter because I can get close to Judy.
All right.
I can get close to you, sweetheart.
We'll
and
fix
you
it.
can hear me.
We were so
There's
excited.
no
We were so excited about the Jim. You okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we were very excited. But while we're Jim, don't worry about it. Okay. So while we're in the beginning stage of this show, we really wanted to talk about two important things that are going on. World Stroke Day. World Stroke Day is October 29th. Let me share you want to share what World Stroke Day is, Judy?
Yes. Good morning. World Stroke Day is October 29th. It's important to acknowledge the fact that stroke is a global killer. Around the world, more people die of stroke each year than HIV, AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. Many stroke survivors are often left with serious physical and mental disabilities, including memory loss, difficulty with movement, and trouble with emotions. Know the signs. Save the life of yourself or someone else. Sudden numbness or weakness in the face, arm, or leg, especially on one side of the body. Sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or difficulty understanding speech. Sudden trouble seeing in one or both eyes. Sudden trouble walking. Dizziness, loss of balance, or lack of coordination. Sudden severe headache with no known cause. Swollen ankles. Stroke is a medical emergency. Call 911 immediately because time is of the essence. Stroke treatments work best when you get immediate help within a 2 to 3 hour period. A stroke sometimes is considered a brain attack, which occurs when a clot blocks the blood supply to the brain or when a blood vessel in the brain bursts. Doctors who treat stroke can give you a medicine that dissolves blood clots, but you have to get there in time. Doctors can also use a device that threads inside a blocked vessel and removes the clot directly. Either treatment can make you much more likely to have a good recovery from stroke. Stroke patients may need physical rehabilitation to help retain their brain and limbs to work together. You can prevent a stroke with lifestyle changes and medicines. Check your blood pressure. Stop smoking. Get moving. Get physically active. Eat healthy foods, vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. Lose weight. And remember to act fast. Remember this. Face. Ask the person to smile. Does one side of their face droop? Ask the person to extend both arms. Does one arm not extend all the way or droop? Does it go downward? Speech. Ask the person to repeat a simple phrase. And time, as I said, you must call 911 immediately. Stroke can happen to anyone, even unborn babies. children, teenagers, women who gave birth, 6 months after they gave birth, they could have a stroke.
Which is what happened to me.
Right. And senior citizens. So remember, early detention is important to stroke survival. When stroke is detected early, death and disability are less likely. I wish everyone the best, and I hope that they listen to that and be aware.
Yeah, and you know, on World Stroke Day, call the doctor to make an appointment for your physical checkup, an annual checkup. It really is important. It could save your life. I know sometimes people don't want to go to the doctor because they haven't been there in many years, and they're afraid of what they're going to find out, but you need to find out because you need to know. It's the only way to save your life and to have a healthy life is to know your baseline with your doctor. So that if anything changes, they know the baseline that you have. So on October 29th, between now and October 29th, please call the doctor and make your appointment. And Judy had mentioned about FAST, where, you know, the face, the arms, the smile, and time. But we always tell people that when you're calling 911, please let them know that it could be a stroke occurrence or a stroke situation. That will put them into stroke mode. I was on Ambassador for Strokes in Valley Hospital in Ridgewood, New Jersey for a while, and I was on a committee with them. And I met with, every month we would meet with the doctors and the nurses and the EMT and whoever was involved with strokes. And that was one of the things that I got from that, is to let them know, because what will happen is the ambulance will know what to look for when they get there. The ambulance will call the hospital. They'll take you right past triage, which is where you have to usually stop when you're in the hospital, and they'll take you right to the CAT scan if everything aligns with the stroke situation. And they will, and it will save your life, because you have a 4.5 to I think Dr. Becula said it's a little bit longer now.
Right, but you still need to get there in time. And in case, when you get there, they're going to do some tests, MRI, CAT scans. The only reason they would not do the clot-busting drug would be if there's a bleed.
Yes.
Okay, and then they have to take other measures, so you don't want to waste time. You have to get there as soon as possible.
Right, because there is a window of time that they can only give you that clot buster. So if you pass that window of time, they're not going to be able to give it to you. So time is of the essence, and really please let them know that it could be a stroke situation. And we're going to talk to Deanna and Eddie about that as well a little bit later. And the next thing is Life's Next Chapter. They're having a wonderful event, their second annual. Last year I was the part of the ReneMarie Stroke of Luck event. This year I was not able to be a part of it because of the family situations I have going on. But this year on 11/21, they're going to be on again. They're going to be doing another event at their college, and they're going to be on the show next week. Next week. They're so vibrant, so educational, and this is really our connection to teaching the youth about strokes. We need to educate children about strokes, because we need to, if we teach young adults and young children that they need to take care of themselves early, we could save their lives, and actually they can live a healthier lifestyle. Right. So we're very excited for Life's Next Chapter to be on our show next week.
And that's November 3rd.
November 3rd.
Where is it going to be?
Here, well,
the show.
The show is going to be here.
Yes.
They're going to come on the show, but their event is at the New Jersey City University. Jim has it up on the screen now, right, Jim?
And next week's show is going to be co-hosted by Nancy Magrini Cavallon.
Nancy's
because I'm a little unavailable next week.
Yes, well, we do this every week. And by the way, we can announce, Jim, right? Our bi-monthly. So in 2020, we are going to do double down. That's a good word. Double down. We're going to do 2 shows every other week, and that will free us up to do more work on our journey of stroke and aphasia awareness. It'll give us more time to set up. It'll give us more time to educate people personally, one-on-one. This venue, we've been doing this for almost 6 years.
Not almost, 6 years.
6 years. It's been incredible. And it really is an important basis to what we do, because anybody could tune in and watch us at any particular time. I can always go back to for information as well. But we do want to get out in the field and meet people one-on-one and start. And we also want to start on our legacy, which is to build a location where stroke patients can come and not have to worry about their insurance. And for recovery. So that's going to be huge to be able to find a location to get community support to do all that, and that's why we need the time. So Jim has been gracious enough to allow us to do 2 shows, and the schedule will go up on our website.
I do not have it in front of me right now.
Oh, that's okay.
But I believe it's the first Sunday in January.
Okay, and then every other week.
And then every other week.
May I ask a question? Can the viewers get in touch with you
Definitely.
and ask questions?
Yes.
And how can they get in touch with you?
Via Facebook. They can. They're right here. They can write a little message on Facebook where they're watching us. So
And they can go to our website.
Yeah.
We have quite a few.
Yeah, my mom's talking about immediately if they have any
Oh, okay.
questions
Yes.
as far as Deanna and Eddie's story. So we're really excited about 2020. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. 2020 is
Right around the corner.
Right around the corner. But can we open up the window, Jim, and invite Deanna and Eddie into the show? It's open? Okay, great. So welcome
Thank
to the
you.
show today. We're really humbled that you took the time to come today. As we know, time is valuable, and you chose to spend your Sunday morning with us, so we're really grateful to you. So Deanna, tell us, Eddie, why don't you start, because you know more of the beginning story since
Okay.
Deanna. So tell us a little bit when did it happen?
It happened April 27, 2016.
Wow. So it's been 3.5 years,
Yes.
approximately. Okay. So tell us a little bit about the stroke occurrence.
7 a.m., Deanna woke up, went to the bathroom. She felt fine, and then she had blacked out. My sister-in-law had called the ambulance. She was staying up in Connecticut at the time. Ambulance came and picked her up, took her to the hospital. They were unaware that she had a stroke at that point.
The hospital was unaware that
the
she had a
hospital,
stroke.
yes. I got to the hospital probably around 9:30, and when I got there, Deanna was completely unconscious. They said that they've seen this before, that she would be okay, and we'd probably be going home by noon that day.
And what was the diagnosis? Didn't they give you a diagnosis?
At that point, they did not know.
So how did they? I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, how could they say they've seen this before?
Right,
They've
and then
seen
Yeah.
what before?
And then she's going to go home by 12
Yeah.
and they don't know what's wrong with her. That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
So,
Well, they seem to feel comfortable with it, and it's happened before. And I was just relieved that we were going to be okay.
was she still out, Eddie?
Yes, she was still
out.
unconscious, yes. She actually didn't wake up for 2.5, 3 days almost.
And how could they? It just like floors me, like how they could determine that she'll be going home by 12 o'clock if she was
Right, I
still
can't understand that.
If she was still, was she in a coma or was she?
She said, they told me that she was just sleeping. So, I was thinking positive that yes, she's fine. We'll be going home. Almost around 3 o'clock, they came to me and said that they felt like she was having a stroke, and they said we could either be admitted and go upstairs to this hospital, or we had the option of transferring to Westchester Medical Center or Yale. We opted for Westchester Medical Center. Around 10:30 that night, we were transferred over there. and they began a series of tests. We spent 10 days at Westchester Medical in the ICU.
And I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
No.
They wasted all that time.
Well, that, I mean, you know, we don't know why, but that's pretty shocking. I don't want to use the wrong words, but you there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. But the fact that that's where you go to a hospital to determine what the situation is.
Right. And in the past, if anybody was in the hospital or anyone was sick, my wife always was the one who asked the questions. So when the tables were turned, I didn't know what to do. Wow. And I just followed what they told me. And then once we got to Westchester Medical Center, it was a completely different scenario. And they gave her a ton of scans, ton of MRIs. Like I said, about the third day, she was coming to, but she couldn't speak. She couldn't speak for weeks, probably a month.
Wow.
So we spent 10 days at Westchester Medical Center. From there, we were transported to St. Charles in Port Jeff, thank you, which was a little closer to home, where she spent 2 months there.
Wow.
They got her up, they got her to eat, and starting to talk with speech therapy. From there, we moved to St Johnland for 2 months.
Right.
Is that a rehabilitation
That's a
center?
rehabilitation
in
center.
Kings
Yes,
Park?
yes, correct. And there, the staff was great. The teams were great. We had very good doctors and good therapists. Around the 6th week, they called me in to have a meeting saying that they wanted to release, the insurance was going to stop paying at the 6th week. Now, they told us right from the start we're looking at 8 weeks minimum. So I called a meeting with the whole team that we were working with, and I said, put the insurance to the side. What is the best option right now? And they said to stay for the last 2 weeks because she still needs the therapy, and she also, the last week or so, they spend prepping us for when we go home.
But just think about that. I mean, the fact that the insurances have decided that
At a critical time.
especially within the first 6 months. I mean, when somebody suffers a major stroke like you occurred,
Yes.
you didn't have a TIA. You had a major stroke. You were unconscious for two and a half days.
She didn't get a clot busting.
Right. So how could the insurance determine?
It was
That's a good question.
My
Carotid
neck.
artery.
Yeah.
The clot had formed in her carotid artery.
In one of the arteries.
Mm-hmm.
And did it move? Did the clot move eventually?
No, it was broken up.
It was broken up.
Yeah,
So
with
did
medications.
with medication. So she wasn't able, because they didn't determine it quick enough, she wasn't able to get the clot bluster.
Correct.
But they did dissolve it with medications. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know, Eddie. Just like, let's take a moment to really think about that. How you were at least in a position to say, you were caring enough about your wife, and you actually were educated enough to say, okay, what do we do? Like, to bring that team together. But there's so many people in the world, in America, who don't have that knowledge and don't know what to do. So they're sitting back by themselves, and they just follow the insurance guidelines, and all of a sudden, your family member is not doing well, and they're just, and it's so crucial.
And if you don't get the right therapy, you're going to get, it's going to take years to recover.
I know.
And the disabilities could become permanent.
Yeah.
It's taking years to recover, and the disabilities are permanent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I know, I'm saying time passes by. And time is of essence in this moment.
and it's even of the essence in the recovery as well.
Definitely.
Because, if you don't, fix the brain and reevaluate the brain and educate the brain once again, as soon as the more time passes, the harder it is to create that new path, that education in your brain. I mean, I'm not a brain
Renee,
expert.
remember Bob Mandel? He had a stroke and he delayed getting help, and it took, I think, 18 years before he was able to get better. I mean, he had a lot of therapy and whatever, but the delay was really terrible.
Well, that's one of our, like I was saying to Eddie and Deanna before, and my mom and Judy knows that's one of our biggest, I don't want to say battles, objectives. That's one of our biggest things on the table to say to the insurances, to the politicians, to everybody, to the doctors, everybody. Like how do we fix that? Like, how do we fix that? Because that's unacceptable.
Even with normal tests, I called up to get just a normal routine test that you're supposed to get every year, and they said, well, your insurance isn't going to cover it. I said, I'm doing it anyway.
Right. But you're in a position that you could do it anyway.
Right.
But in America, there's a lot of people who don't
They
have
can't,
the finances to do that. That's
I know, that's sad.
That's so sad. It's so sad. So
terrible.
And we're working on having a roundtable discussion about this particular situation, and we're trying to put the pieces together, but we're not backing off. This is what we're moving towards, pushing to
we
be
have
a
to
part
bring
of the
this to
conversation.
the forefront of the news. Everybody's got to hear about it.
And not hear about it. We want
But
answers.
we want to do something about it.
What's her name? I'm drawing a blank. Kelly Marie?
Not Kelly. Jean Marie.
Jean Marie. She came on our show, and her mom suffered a stroke, and she's passionate like we are, and she's like, okay, we're done. We're done. We want answers. Like, that's why we're
And she brought up
together.
subjects that occurred during my dad's stroke, and I didn't.
Yeah.
With the eyesight.
Yeah.
And nothing was done about it.
So we don't want to speak anymore. We want answers. We want to be a part of the conversation. So, Deanna, tell us your experience going through it. Like, we heard the outside of what was going on, but how did it feel? Do you remember anything going through it?
I remember bits and parts of St. Charles, like maybe a week at St. Charles.
At the beginning that you were at St. Charles, or
No, at the end.
Near the end, you remember.
I don't remember a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
So how many weeks went by until you began to remember, Deanna?
Until you realized what was
7.
happening.
7 or 8 weeks.
Wow.
7 or 8 weeks.
Wow, that's incredible. It's incredible, that many years went by, weeks, I'm sorry, and you don't remember. But I will share with you that eventually, because mine was 30 years ago and I suffered a major stroke as well, I was in the same position as you, and I was not unconscious, but I was in a semi-coma for 1 week. I don't remember anything that happened. But eventually you start remembering pieces to the puzzle, But the truth is that's not really important. What is important is moving forward and getting the recovery. And I know it's a new road. You'll never go back to the way it used to be. But you're on a new road, and you're able to enjoy that road and really appreciate the opportunity to.
And it's important that you're bringing awareness to people all over the world.
Yes. So, once you after that 7 weeks, did she go home after 8 weeks?
What happened was at the 6th week, when the team told me that the insurance was ran out, and they were not going to cover the last 2 weeks, even though our policy said that we were eligible for that.
So why didn't you get it if your policy said you're eligible?
Because
for
they
it?
felt that her medical
I can't. Sorry.
information provided to them, they never sent a doctor out or anything. They felt that the medical information provided to the insurance company warranted sending her home. The team agreed that she was not ready to go home. We were blessed to have a close friend that is involved on the board of St Johnland's, and I spoke to them as well as the team and said, we're going to self-pay for the last 2 weeks because that's what she needs.
Right.
So they were able to work something out with us, and in the meantime I had contacted the New York State Insurance Board and explained it to them, and then our last 2 weeks were covered by the insurance. When we finally did go home, we started doing physical therapy 3-4 times a week. We did that for about a year and a half.
Wow. Was it covered?
It was covered, but only
But-
30 visits.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because when you go to physical therapy for one day, you'll have a speech therapy for 30 minutes, you'll have occupational therapy for 30 minutes, and physical therapy for 30 minutes. That counts as 3 visits.
Oh my
even though
God.
you're in
Yeah.
there
Oh,
once.
that's ridiculous.
So
Okay.
10 visits.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
visits.
That's
At
ridiculous.
$50 a pop, and then it was self-pay, which was anywhere between $75 and $135, depending on which therapy we got.
Does
So-
everybody get that? I mean, and that was I don't know if Judy sent you our press, but I put do you get it? And I put all in capital letters with a question mark. I said that insurance should not, and this is what I said, insurance should not, do you get it? Question mark. Insurance should not be the deciding factor in recovery. It shouldn't be.
Yes.
Do you
And
hear
there's
us?
more
Do you,
about.
did I
Do
put
you
the-
hear
do I
us?
Do you hear us? Do
there's,
you hear us?
There's more with the insurance as well, because after about a year and a half of paying almost $1,000 a month between co-pays and self-pays, we decided we were going to join a gym instead. I spoke to the physical therapist and I said, what do you guys think about aquatherapy? And they said, I think it's a great idea. I said, why did you never suggest it? Because our policy didn't cover it. So at that point, we decided that we were going to leave the physical therapy place, and we signed up for a gym that had a pool at $25 a month. When we went there, we had a free training session with a licensed trainer there who happened to be a physical therapist
Wow.
in the daytime.
That was a God thing.
So it kind of aligned. So she gave us a basic program on the gym floor with certain machines, basic machines. I'd want to say around 4 or 5 exercises, as well as about a half a dozen exercises in the pool. Deanna was a really good swimmer and a lifeguard when she was younger. The first day we went into the pool, she could barely move in the pool. As weeks went by, she could swim with a board a little bit, very little bit. And then as we kept doing the exercises, the aqua therapy was a very big part. Now, in the beginning, when we would come home from aquatherapy or swimming in the pool, let's call it, she would have a complete body hangover for 2 days where she needed to rest. She would still do hand exercises and stuff at home. And another thing as well, she did a lot of hand exercises, leg exercises at home. We turned our dining room into a gym with an elliptical machine, as well as a treadmill and a bike. Now when we go to the gym 3 times a week. We swim once a week. We spend about an hour in the pool, and we spend about an hour and a half each gym session. And she does probably 8 to 10 different machines now.
Wow, that's excellent.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And that's just your determination and your will. And that takes a lot of mind strength to stay in that zone, because there's been a lot of stroke and aphasia patients, family members of ours that get into a depressed mode.
Yeah.
And Eddie, I know you played a big part in that, keeping her spirit up. Judy says it all the time that you
She
need
kept
people
my
around you.
spirit up, actually.
Really?
Yes,
Good.
she was completely strong the whole time. She never ever got down,
That's awesome.
and she just kept pushing forward to get better.
That's good.
And
That's
she's
good.
still doing that.
That's
Don't
awesome.
cry, I told you.
Aw. Jim, do you have a tissue by any chance?
Oh wait, I do.
Okay.
I came prepared.
A few things. I always like to take the moment, and one of the things that you mentioned was that you went to the New Jersey State Insurance Board.
No, it was New York.
New York. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I come from New Jersey, New York, and we actually had an assemblyman on, Andrew Rea, who spoke to us. I think it was his first time here. I don't remember. He's been here a number of times.
He's been here a few
He's
times.
a great guy. He said to us, if you don't get what you really believe with your insurance, you need to go talk to your politicians and get their
Okay.
support on it. And that's what he said to us. I mean, you can't ask them for things that aren't, logical and,
Right.
and you don't deserve. I mean, that's just crazy. But if you've done your homework like you did, and you go to somebody and you present to them, I need your help, because they work for us, the politicians, and you say to them, we need your help. This is going on. Andrew has made many phone calls and has fixed many situations like
That's
yours.
good to know.
So,
And he's from Northport.
Yes.
yes, he's a great guy. If you could vote for him, he's running for election. And once again, I don't know who he's running against. I just know that Andrew I called Andrew when Pepe was going through it. He had texted him in 2 seconds. He called me back, and he answered some of my questions. So it really is important to have people around you that listen to you and help you through it. And they may come back and say, "There's nothing we could do. These are the reasons," but at least you have the proper guidance and support in your life. My next question is, you said that the insurance wasn't paying because it was put in that she was able to go home. Did you ever ask the hospital or the rehabilitation center what they put in?
Yes, they never said she was ready to go home.
Right. So that was another piece to the puzzle that
Exactly,
allowed you
exactly.
to get your...
We had a team of about, I want to say, 4 or 5 people at St Johnland's who were very helpful, and we really worked as a team, because I didn't know where to turn or what to do, and the guidance that they gave us was spot on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
good.
that's one of the things that we promote as well, that you need to build that team of people so that you can get the right answers and move forward in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a family member, you don't know. I mean, this is a new road for your wife as well as for you, that you don't know what has to be done, Eddie, you've gone through this. Talk to us about your input into how we could help the insurance and the politicians understand, to make a difference. What would your input into it be?
That's a good question. I think they have to take, I know there's a million cases, but they need to take case by case, and I guess investigate maybe each patient just a little bit more, so that they can see the actual patient and the condition they're in. I got the feeling that nobody actually came to visit her, or a doctor from the insurance company never came
That would have been a good
to
idea.
visit her. They just made a determination based on
Paperwork.
paperwork.
That
Exactly.
was insufficient.
And
But the paperwork was
the
sufficient.
paperwork was
They
sufficient.
they just took a look at it and determined what they wanted to determine.
Oh,
Yes.
all right.
The whole team and staff, everybody agreed that she needed the extra time, and they were very supportive. Even, like I said, even with the self-pay, and they even gave us a break on the self-pay, and thank goodness we didn't need to, because the insurance did step up after some prying. Yeah, exactly. And we were just very lucky and blessed to have great support from all the people, all the medical staff and team in every hospital.
To me, you don't, I thought you wanted to say something.
No.
To me, that 8 weeks is nothing.
No.
She needed years.
Although it felt like 10 months.
Yes.
But yes.
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
they give you 8 weeks. I mean, she still needs therapy.
Yes.
And sometimes I know, like in my world, sometimes I need to go like a refresher,
Okay.
just to strengthen myself again. You know what I'm saying? Because my life has been affected by the stroke. So you need to always remember that your causes are from the stroke that you had. So if you pay for insurance, they should really keep that in mind when you're putting a claim in or something. And the 8 weeks, they should really cover your gym. You know what I'm saying? Because you're being nice enough to think of other ways to keep the cost down for her physical therapy through the gym.
What we're really trying to do is just, I think when something like this happens, you can rely on the professionals for a little bit of it, but you have to stand up and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just, that's something that Deanna taught me, and once we started going to the gym regularly, we saw a big jump in strength, and she couldn't even walk in the beginning. She could barely move. She was wheelchair bound in the house for I want to say months in the beginning, and yesterday she walked a mile for the lung cancer walk in Manhattan. Mile and a half. I'm sorry.
Mile and a half.
Mile and a half.
Wow, that's so good.
That's really good. Deanna, tell us, how do you keep your spirit up? What did you used to do? What was your profession before you suffered your stroke?
I was
Sales associate. You could tell me you sold soap.
customer service.
Customer service. Okay. So you had to always be in a kind and upbeat cheerful way,
Yeah.
because that was your job as customer service.
But that's just the way I am.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's why you're great for the position, because that is your personality. So you're probably very good. So, I mean, I believe that our life is practice for what's to come.
Yes.
And I also believe that everything kind of is like a chain of events. So your positive attitude and life experiences really played a huge part in your recovery process.
Yeah.
So tell us, how do you keep your spirits up every day?
I live to
Take your time, because I know I used to struggle the same thing, not being able to think of the words, and they're right there.
Yeah.
So don't stress. Don't stress.
One thing is, it comes very natural to her. It's
Yes.
not something that she has to work on. She's just, it's just one of her qualities.
Good diet
yes.
all of your life. That's one of the reasons why she's so strong.
Well, she's mad because I should have had the stroke, because I don't eat well and she does.
Do you know you guys matched today? I just thought I mentioned.
Oh no, we didn't. No.
Yes, you do.
The pants, the
I
white
just
shirt.
noticed it.
I know. Me too. But so you must suffer from aphasia. Aphasia is the brain injury that doesn't allow you to communicate with people or to think. I mean, because I always talk about to people, even 15 years after my stroke, a long time after my stroke, when I was in the general population and working and all that kind of stuff, I would be tired, especially when I get tired. When I get tired, I'm worthless. Not
Oh,
worthless.
don't
I
say
know.
that.
But
That's-
I'm not. But I've learned tools in my life to not engage and to just go home and just
Which is
rest,
very
because
difficult
I
for you to do.
Yes, but I know I have to do it. So, but people used to talk to me, and I swear I was looking right at them, and I couldn't comprehend what they were saying to me, because my brain wasn't in a functioning mode. I couldn't. It took time for my brain to defragment and to put its pieces back in place so that I could, to have a conversation or think. And the other thing was I would talk about 20 million different things at once, and hop around, and the people would be looking at me like, and I didn't realize I was doing it, because you think you're talking normally to people, So, but do you go any speech therapy? Do you still go to speech therapy? Yeah, and that's another thing I've learned. You have to stay calm.
Speech therapy was one of the first things that they cut off.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Now, thinking about we're talking about maybe 30 years
My
ago.
stroke 30 years
right,
ago.
30 years ago. I didn't have a stroke, but
Yes.
I had a car accident
Many years ago.
when I was about 12 years old. And I had a brain injury on the left side of my head. And that is very bad because this side of the head has to do with memory and with speech. So I was in grammar school, and I was in the hospital for maybe 1 week, went back home after a week, went back home, and then within another 1 week or 2 weeks, I went back to grammar school. And my father told me that there was nothing wrong with me.
Oh.
But there was something wrong with me because I couldn't speak well. I had problems remembering, and I was a very good student, especially mathematics. And I wasn't able to think well. And I never had any
Physical
support or physical
Yeah.
therapy.
or speech
For
therapy.
that. It took me many, many, many years when I went back to the university, and the work that I had to do at the university to be able to get back some of my memory that I had lost and some of being able to speak. There are times that I forget words that I know very well, but I just seem to disappear. So I think with Deanna, probably you're having the same problem that I had during my youth. Correct?
And what I
Yes.
hope that you get from what we're sharing with you, because I couldn't speak either, is that there is hope.
Yes.
And that if you keep pushing and you keep with your spirit, that you have a great spirit, that nothing.
And a very supportive
Yes,
husband, which
yes,
you're very
yes,
fortunate.
Yes. That you will eventually be able to speak. You will. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. You will be able to speak clear. Is it your right side as well? It's your right side? I know mine is too as well.
That is the right side.
You know, and the other thing is, do you like music?
Yes.
Because music helps you to sing and to speak.
Yes.
So, I mean, what was Congresswoman Gilbert? What was her name?
Oh, Gabriel?
Gabriel.
Something
That got
like that.
shot with the.
Yes,
She
yes.
actually.
Yes.
Yes.
Gi-
I forget. I'm
I
sorry.
don't know if it was Gibbs or Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Gibbs. No.
Everybody knows
yeah.
who we're talking about.
Yes, yes.
But she actually, music was
Yeah.
one of the therapies that she used. And even if you put on music and you just
I do.
you say it and you constantly, because music is, Mom, talk about music is, what is her name?
Gabby Gifford.
Gabby Gifford.
Gabby Gifford.
Music
So
is
we gotta
another
go
side
over
of the
that.
brain. Talk about that to us.
It's the right side of the brain that music has to do. the right side.
Yeah.
So if my stroke was on the right side,
That's right.
so it's the left side of my brain that got
you were
affected,
injured.
that we
And
were
you know,
injured. So if it's the right side of the brain, the right side of the brain is the side that didn't have the effect.
So right side.
And in your case, it's the right side.
No, because if it's the right side, that you can ask your doctor.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. But from what I understand is, if it's the right side that was affected, it's the other side of the brain.
That's
it's
correct.
the left side of the brain.
That's
the left
correct.
side of the brain. So even though your clot was on the right side, it affected the left side of the brain.
I see.
So the music part is on the right side of the
That's
brain.
right.
And you could tap into that and use that because the truth is, when you're talking, you can actually be singing to talk. There's a lot of stuttering people in the world that could actually sing
Mm-hmm.
and sing well, so there's a lot of things.
And I learned that too. I was playing music. I was playing 40s music for my dad when he had a massive stroke, and he was responding. And I didn't know till I went to a seminar years later that music and memory are so important. And they stress that if you play music, people who are totally unresponsive will become responsive to what's going on. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
I did it
important.
naturally. I just was trying to entertain him.
Yeah, it is. And the other thing, and I'm sure you guys do this, but the other thing that is really important in recovery is rest. To really, like you said, give her 2 days to she's not able to do it, to allow her body to kind of go back into sync with
Well, as she's
itself.
getting stronger, the 2 days is now only a day, or like
Good.
today she's a little sore from walking. Later
Right.
she's going to be tired.
Yeah, yeah,
But then tomorrow we'll be back at the gym. So.
yeah. But that's good.
What about joining a choir? I'm not saying that
I
you're
thought
going
of
to
that.
you're going to be able to sing, but being part of the choir and once in a while trying to join them, that might be very helpful. Just remember that the vibrations that music they make us healthy.
That's such a great idea.
They make us healthy. Just
Been
think of
trying
that. Think of
I've
that.
been thinking about joining the
Well, see, that's a
church
confirmation. To give them we only have a few minutes, but just give them a brief history of why you're educated in music. Just really quickly.
Because my life has been in music. I was an opera singer, and I had the great privilege of being one of the students of the great Maria Callas at the Juilliard School. And that has been my life, music. And my daughter is also a musician because
yes.
she sings. So that's why music
It's a
to me-
multi-talented family.
that's why music to me is very, very important. It's my life.
Yeah.
It's really my life.
That's great.
Yeah. So, Deanna, what would you like to say to our audience, especially to stroke survivors? Like, what's the message that you want to bring to them to be able to bring them hope? Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Can I just add something
Absolutely.
really quick? Since she's been handicapped, she's noticed how certain public spaces are not really accessible, even though they are accessible. So she's working with some local politicians to try to get some of the rules changed and to make it a little easier for people that have a hard time moving around.
I admire that because in 1974 I was doing that as well, trying to get companies to provide ways to ramps and that kind of thing to make things easier.
Even the doors to a ladies' room
Yes.
are super
Yes.
heavy.
Yes.
And then the stall, from a design point, I understand why they put the handicap stall in the back, but It's just additional steps for somebody who
Right.
already has a hard time taking those steps.
And
Wow.
in the beginning, I couldn't go out to places if they didn't have a bathroom right there.
Right. Right.
Right.
It was mind-boggling.
Right.
I'm glad you're doing
Because-
something about it.
Because the most of the population doesn't know how it feels to experience
Yeah.
what we've had to experience. So they're not looking at it from that perspective.
Right. I understand that, but we do have to do
I would have
something
thought
about it.
they would have come a long way by now. Because we were talking about it in the 70s.
If nobody speaks up, then they have to.
Right. But it's good that you're involved with the politicians, and maybe you could involve yourself, send letters to builders to actually let them know that if they have any questions and they're building anything, that they can certainly ask you for your advice and your perspective on it, so that they can have another avenue, another piece of information to educate themselves on that, so that they could do that. And that would be a really important piece. And I would like to invite you back with your politician friends and let us know how we can help in that journey, because publicity is really important to enlighten people about this.
Yeah.
So Judy, if they're
Yes.
more than welcome to come
We'll
back
definitely talk
on
about
another
it.
show, so that we could really focus on that. If that's your passion in life, let's focus on that, and we will talk about how to fix that and what we can do. And maybe we can invite a builder on. You know what I'm saying?
He is an architect.
Oh, perfect.
All
So
right.
you could bring your architectural piece into the show. So
And
that
you
would be
know,
awesome.
you know people that would be helpful in this discussion,
Yeah,
to further this discussion.
yeah. We have to go, but since you're going to be back, we won't say goodbye. We'll see you till next time.
Yes.
But thank you so much for telling your story today, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And if you need any support, I'm here. We're here. And
We're family now.
We're family now. We're family now. So anything we could do for either one of you, please let us know, because we'd be more than happy to do that. And Eddie, we'd love to tap into your experience.
And her progress.
Yes, your
also.
progress, but your experience in the insurance claim area, because that's going to be one of our main 2020 forges ahead. So we'd love to invite you to use your wisdom, because I believe that it's together that we have to do it. We can't do it one at a time.
Yes.
Right.
We have to do it together. And I love the fact that you're not. My mom and I were talking about this on the way there. You have to be open to hear all sides when you're talking about it. You're a businessman. Like, let's hear all sides. But the bottom line is, how are we going to get here? You're not making any decisions, but we have to figure out how to get there. So we have to figure out between here and there, how do we bridge that gap? So it's really a passion of ours. So thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. You're going to Mexico to just teach your
Going
master
tonight?
classes?
You leaving
Just going
today?
back to teach.
Master classes.
You going tonight?
No, I'm going on Halloween.
We have to roll out because Jim has another show. Thank you, Jim. It was a great show. Judy, thank you. We always blow our kisses. Are we all on so we can all blow our kisses? You ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
God bless.
God
See you next
all.
week. Bye.
Mi amor, yo no entiendo por qué tú más que nadie sabes qué pasó en toda mi vida. Yo no sé qué tú piensas, yo no sé lo que hay. estoy perdiendo. Yo no sé lo que va a pasar. No me puedes escuchar, llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. El día que caminaste por la puerta, todas las memorias fueron. Mi corazón está vacío, como si tuviera ayer. No me puedes escuchar, llorar solo sin ti. Mi corazón está sufriendo. No me puedes escuchar, llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. Usted está en mi sueño por la noche. Por favor, no peleemos. Y es tan difícil para mí y para ti. Yo, ¿qué puedo hacer? No me puedes escuchar, llorar solo sin ti. Mi corazón está sufriendo. No me puedes escuchar, llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír llorar. No me puedes escuchar, llorar solo sin ti. Mi corazón está sufriendo. No me puedes escuchar, llorar solo sin ti. No me puedes oír